So, what would you think about doing nothing but a sardine fast for 6 months? Does that sound crazy? Leave some comments below. But first, how about a couple of updates? So, last year I went for knee rehabilitation because my knee was shot. Um, went through the first 4 weeks of rehab and seen very, very, very minimal improvements. So the doctor uh, extended the rehab for another 4 weeks. So that put us up to 8 weeks. Again, very minimal improvements. Then they prescribed another 4 weeks. And this was going to physical therapy 3 times a week, every single week, for an hour each time. And I have some complaints about physical therapy. And maybe it's just as I see things, but I'd really like your opinion. So please feel free to put any opinions, any comments, anything in the comments below. I would really appreciate your feedback because some of you are smart folks who listen and watch this, and I would appreciate it. So during rehab, they focused mainly on just my knee and some quad and very, very little hip or lower back functions, which my lower back has always been a problem. But it just seemed like they were prescribed only one particular area. So versus trying, and I'd asked multiple times, what about would a more full body or, you know, addressing some more general areas be a better direction than just pinpointing the knee? Is there, and when I say the knee, I mean, working on the quads, working a little bit on the calves, um, some leg presses and things like that, step ups, step downs, and stuff. So there's some more function there, but it just seemed like it's very you know centric to just that. Where I would think that a physical therapist would want to look at more of the entire functionality of everything. And I know for a fact that your foot alone and your foot strength, ankle strength, and things like that play a role into everything coming up. I also know that without fixing those areas and even like your tibs and things like that, that it's going to be a struggle to transfer the weight carrying, because part of my problem is being so obese that I carry my weight bone on bone versus under the muscular structure. And any part of that muscular structure that is underdeveloped, undertrained, is going to have a failure in that chain and it imbalances everything. So my thing was is I always wanted to balance it. Long story short though, we never did get to that point. After 12 weeks of physical therapy, very minimal, updates. The next part was go see ortho and see about a surgery, um, because I'm starting to get to the age where they would consider doing a surgery on my knee now. Previously, I was told that I was too young, that they don't, that I wouldn't be able to have enough surgeries if I lived the standard life expectancy. Well, again, I'm thinking that if we can't fix the entire chain, what is it good to just fix one point? And my failure, which is always a triggering failure, is stress. And this was very unsettling for me, very disheartening for me, and stressful. And needless to say, my diet went to the wayside. I was depressed on the entire situation. And again, I turned to alcohol to relieve some of the pain, to try to function, because I can be a high functioning alcoholic, which is a bad, bad thing. Needless to say, over that time period, that's where I've been. And, once the alcohol comes in, then the diet goes to wayside. And with the diet to wayside, I might as well drink. And it just becomes a double whammy on me. And I know it's a stumbling block. It's a failure point. So through that, you know, am I back on track? Yes. Not physically yet, but diet wise, yes. Nutrition wise, yes. Cleaning things up. I got back up to 400 pounds again. Just seems like a constant. Currently, I'm back down to 363, which is way too much. But with that, I've been doing some more looking into, what nutrition to eat. I really enjoy fasting. And fasting gives me some of the best results. And I know some people are going to complain. If you have a complaint or a concern about fasting, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. Also, if you haven't, you know, any info that you want to share, like on refeeding and things like that, in terms of how long you think a person should be fasting and stuff. I'm open to hear your feedback, and I think if you have a concern, put it in the comments. That way, somebody who listens to this and thinks, man, I want to follow what he's doing, or I want to jump on board, give them a warning down below. I'm okay with that. With that, though, is I want to do a long-term fasting, but I've also considered doing just sardines. And there's a ton of info out there and a ton of stuff, which, all these videos take with a grain of salt. I mean, it's one of those things of they sound really good. Sardines have, good proteins, your omega fats, your calcium. I even heard somebody say that they have creatine in them and just all these functions and stuff. So I've thought about, one, I want to do an extended fast anyways. One, to get a closer relationship with Jesus Christ. And so during that, that's one of the reasons why I stopped talking about fasts, is because I don't want any glory or any feedback or anything from the public or from the community on doing a fast, because part of that is my personal relationship with Jesus. That's something that I want to grow and build and maintain. And I don't want, you know, my glory coming from, feedback from here on fasting. I want that to be a personal time with Jesus. With that said, though, I think health wise, it makes a ton of sense. And I think that a lot of people need to really consider it, at least consider it enough to start doing your homework on the benefits of it. Because I've had some really, really amazing improvements with fasting. That seems to be when I can control my diet better, is when I'm fasting, oddly enough. Um, Maybe it's because I don't want to lose the progress that I've had. Um, some of it is it actually helps cure my addictions in a sense. Right now I don't have an alcohol addiction. I don't have a food addiction. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's still underlying, but I don't have any of the cravings. I don't have any of the desires. Is because I've been fasting for the past, 3 weeks, not straight, um, but substantially. I'll just leave it at that. So my thought, going back to sardines, is what if I only ate sardines for 6 months? However long I fast in between, but the only thing that I eat. My question for people would be, what would it look like coming off of a long-term fast of 10, 21, 40 days and then starting off with sardines? I think that might be a mistake. I think that's a mistake. I think first that you need to break your fast with like bone broth. I really like breaking my fast with miso soup. I don't, and we do it all homemade. So it's water, miso. We usually throw some like leeks or onions and mushrooms and soft foods or soft things in there, sometimes some tofu, and season it up. And it's, to me, delicious. I absolutely love it. But that's kind of what I'm considering trying or doing. And I thought I'd, share with everybody how everything's going and stuff. Exercise, I still have an issue exercising. My energy's still depleted quickly. The pain with my lower back and my knee is constant. I even have a pain in my quad, my right quad now, that is just ever present. I'm almost positive it's because of how much sitting I do, how sedentary that I am, and that's a bad thing. There's some days that I'm traveling so much that I'm in a car seat for up to 7, 8 hours on top of my workday, which unfortunately at that point in time is literally sitting in between, one location to the next. And most location time for standing or moving is less than 15 to 20 minutes. So, and usually the walking distance on those is less than 50 yards. So, adding all that up, it's just a recipe for disaster, um, for health and fitness wise. So, those are things that I know I need to be working on. I greatly appreciate everybody's encouragement. I appreciate everybody who's been reaching out. I will be going through and replying to all your comments and stuff because it's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. And thank you so much. I'm sorry I've been so horrible at updating people who are truly concerned and who want to follow along and stuff. So, with that said, please take the time to leave a comment. Please take the time to like, subscribe, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you want to join me on this journey, that's going to be the best way to do it, is to subscribe and follow along. I'm going to be, if I do choose to do a sardine fast, or if you guys think that would be neat to watch somebody do a long term thing like that just to see the results, let me know. I would like to get one of those ketone monitor things, but realistically, before I purchase something like that, I'd need to be above 1,000 subscribers. So if you made it this far, hit a sub. If we can break that 1,000, I'll go ahead and get one of those underarm, type it, stab it in, and we'll track it down. We'll see how it works. We'll go from there and see how it affects me. Not that this is any, advice or anything that is medically approved or anything like that. But if you want to see some desperate goober try it, let me know. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed day.